Merry meet and welcome to Lux Dragon Queen Magic. I'm Taylor and today's Tuesdays with Tarot is all about twin flame still, but now we're going to be focusing on twin flame separation. So we have some love tarot coming in to help us understand more around your current blockage and what you can expect more from the future, along with some guiding messages. We also have an oracle book that we will connect with to gain some twin flame communication. So with that, I'll see you at the timestamps below and we'll talk again soon. Okay, pile one. Let's go ahead and get started. First, let's see the you currently. So we have the moon. So right off the bat, I'm getting that everything is really not seeming exactly it is as it seems, right? This is a twin flame separation reading. So chances are right now you have been feeling very isolated, and I'm saying that that's probably true for like within your friendships, within your workplace. Like it really is like this sense that is kind of overcoming you all around. And so that's why we're getting you for the moon. So something too also to note is that the moon is a representation of the divine feminine. So already here we are seeing that you still are part of this twin flame journey, that you are connected to it. It's just right now things may not seem as clear as they are. So let's just take a quick look into what's blocking you. And so we have the world blocking you. So what I'm seeing is you're not really letting go of something that has already ended. And yeah, it may have, I'm hearing it, chances are you're very much stuck on a false flame. And so I'm hearing that maybe you had a lot of arguments with that person, and like they really like said some mean things that got to like the heart of you, to the soul of you, and you really thought you guys were soulmates, you thought you were twin flames, and spirit is coming and saying like that was a false flame. A true twin flame a true twin flame would not speak to you in that way if they are truly aligned with their higher selves and spirituality. And so spirit is saying that you do need to shift your focus away from this, because until you because essentially you're living in a world of denial. That's why we're getting the world card, because you're not letting something end, and so you're forcing this upside down world to remain around you. And so the advice that we have coming through from spirit is the Hierophant. Okay, so very interesting, because from this connection right away, I was getting it to where it actually was seeming like you really do think you know who your truest connection is. And for some of you, I'm getting that like if you're the person that you think is your twin flame, like you guys didn't speak. I don't want anyone to be like, well, maybe I'm part of that group where we didn't speak too harshly to each other. Like there is something to be said about how you guys spoke to each other and how much love and kindness is actually within that connection. Because those are things that one, you need to forgive yourself for being a part of that connection, for being spoken to that way, and then the other part of it is that you need to recognize that you are more deserving of love and support. And so I'm seeing the Hierophant come in for a couple of reasons. So because marriage is coming in very strong for me. Especially this is the love tarot with the Hierophant, normally represents traditions and love. And I'm hearing that it's time to get back to the roots of what matters for you, like the morals and values of the connection itself. Okay, so especially if you are going through a divorce, and like that's what the world is signifying the end of, is a divorce. You're literally in separation and you're like, maybe we're meant to be. I'm getting more the sense from spirit. Take this as it resonates. Like definitely seek your own professional advice as you need and trust your own intuition above all else. But I'm ultimately saying that spirit is saying like you're meant to cut those ties. Like the decision has already been made. You're meant to cut those ties because ultimately when you look back at like the vows that were taken, the morals and values that you and how you see a marriage and a partnership do not coincide with that person. And so doing this shadow work around that is really what's going to help you bring you out of separation and bring your twin flame more to you. Something else to be said about this for those of you who like, you're like, but what if this person is my twin flame and all that? This is still spirit saying like there is a need to let go, because chances are both of you are not in alignment with your higher selves, and so neither of you are supporting each other the way that you need to be. And so it is time for this moment of isolation, this moment of separation. It does not mean that you are alone in the 5D. Is something coming up really big, important, because you're always connected to the higher self. That's something too coming through for this, is like a lot of times I see that you put like what you expect your higher self to be, the higher self of your twin flame to be. You project it a lot into the 3D, even though it's not necessarily there right now. And so that's again why we're seeing you as the moon. A lot of it's the illusion coming up for you. So Spirit is saying to ground yourself in reality, ground yourself in the morals and values and the logic of the traditions that you want to move forward in your life, because that's how your twin flame is going to be that same kind. I'm also hearing like you're probably going to like, this is going to take you into new communities that have those same kind of values. And so of course, like being in those communities that have those same kind of values, it's more likely to bring you closer to a twin flame connection. Now with that, let's go ahead and get started and take a look into your guided messages. And so we have yin and yang. Okay, so something that's like, I'm just really getting a sense that you have been through so much conflict recently, and like you really just want to like pull the wool over your eyes, and you're like, can't everything just be full of love again? First off, yes, but forcing love into a situation where there is not some, or if it's because love can come in many different forms. So I just really get the sense that there's this communication breakdown, again, between like what your values are and how they're being expressed in the world. And so something coming through from Spirit is like your twin flame is a true counterpart for you. You guys, oh, I'm hearing you guys. It's like you guys want to be each other. That may sound weird, but essentially like both of you have something that the other recognizes. You're like, oh wow, this is just like me, but internally. And so there's something about your souls that will just connect. And Spirit is saying you want to bring this yin yang. Oh, you want to bring peace into your relationship, right? And to have that peace, so there is a certain amount of empathy needed in seeing the emotions of the other person and how they're feeling, and then putting yourself into those emotions. And so we're seeing that there's just this beautiful melding, like really like look at, I'm seeing symbols, like you're probably very clairvoyant yourself. Probably you and your partner are clairvoyant. And so a lot, if you start focusing on this symbol and like bring it around, I definitely encourage you to like sort of make a totem of sorts, something like I'm seeing if you can carry it around a keychain, if you're driving around a lot, if you have a certain part of your house where you pass by it all the time, if you have like a makeup, you put on makeup every day, or your skincare, like find something that, even if it's not as functional, like it's a pretty sparkly purpley comb with a peace sign on it, who cares? Then it's in your bathroom, and when you're like looking at it, you're like, oh, how nice. Like that would ruin my curl structure, but I do feel a lot more peaceful right now. So just really off the wall examples. Point is, during your twin flame separation, this symbol is going to really support you in understanding what you need in a partner and how to recognize your partner. And that is so important, right? Because you're really suffering with illusion. You're really suffering with like letting go of something that is not meant for you in this current time. Hoo-wee. And so now we have a mermaid for you. Ooh. So we have gentleness coming through. There is also like, so we have peace, we have gentleness, we have you who just like, again, where are your morals and values? Like maybe you like something, I'm seeing, take this out. Well, I'm seeing like a snake or like a reptile, like anything that has scales, a dragon. When you pet them the wrong way and go against the scales, it's irritating, it hurts. Even though that person it may seem like they're trying to like, oh, sorry. Just imagining that, it is literally like sends shivers down my back. Anyways, but like that person may be intending to like give you love and rapport and support. I think I was trying to say respect and support. So yeah. And gentleness, and ultimately they're not accomplishing that because they are going against your nature. So Spirit is coming in twofold here. One, your twin flame is going to be so gentle with you. I can only see that for you. And so in order to bring that energy more to you, yeah, I'm seeing like maybe you're used to like dating, like being like you yourself, if you recognize yourself as a divine feminine, you're like always used to like needing to be like one of the boys. And you know, maybe if you're a divine masculine in this reading too, something to be said is toxic masculinity comes up often. So no matter who you are in this connection, what I'm seeing is that through your partner, you will receive gentleness, and that is going to be so important for you in general. And something to bring more of that in right now is to be gentle with yourself. So what did we see with the Hierophant? In order to like help remove this wool from your eyes is to be gentle with yourself, recognize kind of what you want, which way do your scales go. And it's okay if that, sometimes you're able to communicate to that person and say, hey, my scales actually go this way, but there is something to be said that you can't control their response either. and to just be gentle with yourself and them if their response is maybe like, well, I refuse to change the way that I pet. This is the only way I know. And then if that's the case, you're like, okay, then we're clearly not as compatible as I would like, and we have to go our separate ways. Thank you for the lessons and memories that we've had and the love that we shared. Like, there is something to be said that we hold on too tightly to things that are ending because we are uncomfortable with change. And so Spirit is coming in again, just really being gentle with yourself. And I'm seeing maybe you're so used to like change and conflict, and so like you really like harden yourself to this. And so this is kind of like Spirit, like as scary as it is, like saying it's time to be vulnerable. And through that vulnerability, you will find the truest love. Not only just from yourself and within, but you will find it outside of you too. Again, because this moon, like I said, you're feeling isolated, not just in your relationship, but by friends, family, workplace. So you are Spirit is encouraging you so much to find that internal peace so that you can bring it into your external. All right, and then we do have a daily affirmation for you. My grief, anger, sadness, anxiety, or loneliness do not define me. Okay. I definitely write this inside your peace sign, do whatever you need, but the word gentle just keeps coming up, like being gentle with your emotions, having grace for the fact that you are a feeling human being. I'm a firm believer that emotions are actually one of the evolutionary rights of humans. And so working within those and understanding that they do not define us, that they are merely an essence of us, a gift, a blessing, to help us understand this life as we work through it, will really support you during this twin flame separation. Okay. And again, are you feeling lonely? Like, how many oftentimes too do we go towards a false flame because we're like, it's so close to being perfect, and chances are, I especially believe this for twin flames, in separation, is that there's a certain, no matter how whole or imperfectly perfect you get to a point with you, there is always this sense of longing that comes through. And so Spirit is saying like that still is a gift, because it means you are part of a twin flame journey. It does mean that it just means that like you are capable of such great love, right? So as lonely, as anxious, sad, angry, or grievous you may feel, you are still able to, I just heard, those emotions so thoroughly that you're able to support others moving through those. Beautiful. Okay, so last thing, we'll go ahead and grab a twin flame communication oracle. Okay, so life path getting cleared. Meeting me will change your life. It will make you observe things from a different perspective before you met my soul. Your life will turn upside down in ways no one can or no one ever could imagine of. Things that you yourself won't ever have thought of would happen. Generally, old beliefs are cleared. The dissolution is not an easy process, and usually this is the hardest stage. Your usual ways of coping mechanisms won't work anymore. The old wise heuristic you thought would work as a solution wouldn't work anymore. You would have to find a new solutions through. This changes your life immensely. It changes your life massively as you see yourself in the mirror. Your inner demons purge out of your mind. The things you have repressed will purge out no matter what, and you will just be totally unclear and lose control. This brings a major change in one's life. The things you thought you could control before are beyond your control. A better example of this is when you thought you rigidly were against being allured to someone much younger or much older than you are. You use a lot of coping mechanisms by ignoring this person. But in the life's course of time, your old belief system will be stripped down, and there's no way one can be indifferent to such a connection. And you realize that age does not matter at all. It's the soul that truly matters. Your life will be changed because the people and things that you don't serve, Your life will be changed because the people and things that don't serve you right will one by one be picked out of your life. Inevitable separation from karmic partners, toxic friends, losing jobs, etc. It will take you out of your comfort zone. This will be enough to make one crazy, quotations, or unstable, quotations. For this is a purging phase that is part of your energy clearing and ascension. All this will happen in the same period, or one after the other, like a continuous domino effect. Okay, what did we say about the fact that you're feeling this isolation, and it's going to draw you into more of a community that supports you, and it is going to strip away things. You are needing to find peace, vulnerability. You are needing to recognize your emotions to lower that lower the iron gates that guard your heart. Okay. Something too I just want to point out. So it mentions like feeling crazy or unstable. I would encourage you as you go through these life transformations, anytime, actually every time you could say the word crazy. Most of the time, sorry, I was just thinking there are some times where you don't want to use this, but most of the time when you have the word crazy, crazy, you can go ahead and change it to the word magical, miraculous, enchanting, and just notice and see how that like positive note for some things, like when you're like, it's crazy for me to move across the country for a job that I've had no skill set for. Like, I don't even know how I got this job. It's crazy that I got this job. Instead, changing that to being like, it's so magical. It's so miraculous that I got this job. It's so magical. It's so miraculous. It's how enchanting that I get to move across the country in order to start a whole new life and gain new perspectives. So, like, just the different tones in that. Like, instead of being so against yourself, become like your biggest fan. So, with that, pile one, I'm definitely going to go ahead and leave this here for you. And I'm sending you love and light. Remember to be kind and gentle to yourself to bring that energy more to you. Do not be afraid of the future, because your future is where your love is. With that, don't forget to like and subscribe if this resonated with you. Comment below anything that you're going through. Gain support through the community. And blessed be pile one. All right, pile two, let's go ahead and get started with your twin flame separation reading. First, we'll start with you. Okay. So right away, having death come out as your love tarot, I am seeing that you yourself have kind of gone through some internal changes. You've gained new perspectives, and you have applied them to your life to where your world has started to really change. And this kind of has left you feeling a little bit unstable, on uneven grounding. And something too with this, I'm seeing your perspective in regards to love is changing. So maybe the way that you view love, you like traditional relationships, what you're capable of, what you deserve too, ooh, coming through. And so, so ultimately, you are in this moment of change, and it is something. One, I'm hearing like you may be feeling like a lot of fear around this change, but I'm hearing like you are the one who initiated this, because I'm really seeing like death is card 13, but I'm getting the sense of the hangman, like just you were right there, and you gain those new perspectives. You willingly sacrifice those old thoughts, those negative thoughts that no longer served you, and now you are taking on the energy needed in order to transform yourself. So yes, you recognize you're a caterpillar worthy of becoming a butterfly, and you said it is time. But becoming a chrysalis sometimes is so painful, and so you're at that beginning stage is what I'm seeing. Let's see more about what's blocking you. Okay, so we definitely have a couple of things with this. Within. Okay, there's a couple things coming through. So for some of you, this literally is, especially if you were deciding between pile 1 and 2, this definitely is a false flame that got your attention, and that's like part of the transformation that you went through internally, is being like, is this really the one? Because I feel like I deserve more. And so that's why it's still a blockage though, is because you're at the beginning of that. And then the other side of this is for those who you've been in your twin flame separation, and maybe you're noticing like the way that people treat love around you in general isn't really supportive of how you want to view love. And so it's more of just like, so the easy example for that would just be that you're attracted to the same gender, and there are so many, you may not identify with a gender, there's so many different things that your family could just disagree with how you want to view love, that I can't really list all of them here. So just take that how it resonates. Typically too, if I'm also seeing that in addition to this, there may be part of it too where your family is like, your partner is perfect for you, and you're like, he kind of beats me, so I don't think that's too good. And so this is spirit saying like, you're not the crazy one in this situation. You are the one who are recognizing what you're worth, what you deserve. And if those external energies are saying like, no, you need to be blocked down in this connection, like this is where you're at. Another thing coming up from is the concept of sexuality in general. So like especially for if you have a well, I think a lot of people struggle with how their body is and how, like, to determine themselves like sexy or hot. And then there is also a certain sense of like maybe losing yourself in an identity of being sexy and maybe being objectified. And so this is something coming through, like maybe you see yourself as only someone as a sexual object. This may also be like something you're used to in your connections too, which is why it's coming up in your twin flame separation, because this is something that holds you back from coming into alignment with your twin flame, are these false external perceptions that you deserve less than what you're worth, that your love is wrong, that you are wrong, that the way that you exist in life is not the right way. And so these things are ultimately what's holding you back from finding your truest connection. And so what else can we see here? Okay, so I am seeing with the Emperor for you, whether you're divine feminine or divine masculine, what's coming through is it's asking you to step more into your divine masculine energy in order to pull you through this moment. So what I'm hearing for is, no matter who you are in the twin flame partnership, both sides need to develop this divine masculine. So with that being said, I'm seeing that a lot of times, I'm seeing most of the time, especially if it's family, like conversation comes up, people talk down to you, and then you aren't really speaking up in the moment, but your thoughts are so loud. And then in addition to that, I'm also seeing like maybe when you're talking to friends or you're talking to spirit in your meditations, like in your safe spaces, you are sharing, you're saying like, I deserve this, I deserve that, but you aren't following through on those actions. And so the way to remove this blockage is to follow through on what you're saying, follow through on the thoughts that you're having, right? Okay, so it's to follow through on the transformation. It's to accept that the way that you internally view the world is different from the external, and that you are not wrong in that moment. We're not saying they're not wrong either. We're just saying that their perspectives need to be a little more open-minded to include you, right? And so Spirit is coming in strong that for no matter where you're at in your connection in this separation, you just need to trust more of what you've learned and what the knowledge you've gained. I'm hearing there might be something that you gain, like the new perspective you gained. You're like, oh, this was so eye-opening, this is so enlightening. And I'm hearing like the people around you were like, sounds pretty crazy to me, bro. And like really discourage you from sharing your joy and expressing the love of knowledge that you just gained. And so the Spirit is saying like, you were meant to learn that new perspective. Like you recognize like your transformation has already started. You can't go back to the way you were before. If you've seen Gem and the Holograms, The Way I Was, that might be a really good song for you to listen to. Because ultimately you take on new perspectives, new experiences, and they do change you and become a part of you as they work through you. They're not necessarily meant to become a part of your identity. So this is kind of like Spirit coming through again, saying like, you're the one who initiated this. You are the one who are working through this. And so it's up to you to push through this as well, to continue through the transformation and to follow through, commit to the new words that you're saying. Okay. So with that, we do have some guided messages as well. Oh, all right. So we have forgiveness. I forgive myself. I am forgiven. So with the Hangman, a lot of times new perspectives bring a certain like forgiveness, a certain kindness into our hearts. And so Spirit is coming through saying, forgive everyone involved in the situation, especially yourself, right? Recognize that you are supported by this healing light. I'm hearing again the chrysalis of the cocoon. And so you are transforming, you are melting down into goo, and forgive yourself for needing to become goo. Forgive yourself for not being able to just all of a sudden be a butterfly. And forgive the people around you for not understanding that there is how you change and how you process things. Because I'm sensing like nobody's wrong in the situation. Everyone just needs more love in the situation, and it's all just new. So a lot of times too, when caterpillars are needing to become butterflies, they go away so that they can find a safe space and transform in solidarity. So something coming through is that for someone's case here, there's definitely an extreme to where like maybe you need to go ahead and go into isolation until you feel confident, until you are that firm butterfly. And because sometimes too, when you are changing, you are saying goodbye to those people who are like you, to being like those people around you. And then you're trying to say, I would like to evolve into this new person. And when you're in that middle evolution, sorry, I just thought of like Pokemon and like how like Metapod and I can't think of Weedle's Kakuna, how they both are if you don't raise them up from the caterpillar and you just catch them wild, they're seen as useless because all they can do is harden. All they can do is protect themselves. And so Spirit is coming through saying like, you're in that middle stage. You learned how to tackle though. You learned string shot, poison sting, whatever. You learned what you needed to in your caterpillar stage. And now it is time for you to harden yourself so that you can go through this internal transformation. So I'm hearing like firmer boundaries are definitely in your future, and just and with resurrecting boundaries, forgive yourself that you need them. So I'm hearing that there's probably a lot of codependency within your world and within your relationships, and so you're really learning how to break away from that style of love. Okay, we also have a mermaid for you, and so we have gratitude coming up. Okay, so just being grateful for where everyone is at in their journeys, right? You are controlling where you're at in your journey, but you can't control how fast you go through it sometimes. Like, yeah, we can a little bit, but sometimes it has to take that long, right? In order for it to be healthy. I just got the image of like, whenever people are having their babies, like, you want to keep them in a nice, safe space as long as possible. Oh, back to the butterfly situation. So a lot of times people are discouraged from like helping butterflies come out of their cocoons because the struggle to come out of the cocoon is what actually supports them in knowing that they're ready to be out of the cocoon, to be in the world, because butterflies are very delicate, right? So you need, in order to be that level of delicacy, that level of lightness, you need to step into, or you need to be willing to accept where you're at and how long it'll take you to get there. There we go. And so with that, gratitude is ultimately what's going to really support you in doing that. So anytime you're feeling down, anytime you're feeling less forgiving, I'm hearing like you'll just sit down, write a list of gratitude. And if you're like having a really bad situation and you're like with a relationship, I'm hearing you can sit down and write the lessons that you learned from that relationship. It's not always going to be positive in the sense of like, oh, I learned this great thing. It might be that you're like, I learned how to love myself through this relationship a lot more because it was missing in that relationship, but you still learned how to love yourself more. You're like, I learned how to say no in this relationship, and that's huge. So these are just like certain examples of how you can be creative in this kind of healing work. Yeah, I'm seeing you're going to be doing probably a lot of shadow work and just to be just so kind to yourself and to those around you. So again, if you need that isolation, if you need to step away and create such firm boundaries that you essentially go on a spiritual retreat, even if it's for like a year, then that is what you need to do, and to just ask for forgiveness within that moment. So something too, I find a lot of people have reported when they get closer to spirituality is they ask for forgiveness for themselves a lot more often, whether it's from their partners, from their family, from their co-workers, from their friends, and then most importantly from themselves. So that really is coming through. Like, this is kind of like the mentality, like you're so grateful for those around you and you ask for forgiveness if you hurt them. And it's like this beautiful energy that you are becoming to support those around, to be an ultimate support of those around you. Yeah. So it's very interesting because I'm getting the sense that right now your twin flame separation is so much more focused on how, on recognizing what you are worth, what you deserve, and that you aren't wrong for how you feel. Very important for that last one. Okay. So we do have an affirmation for you. Okay. So it is safe for me to rest. Okay. Again, I'm getting the sense you need that isolation, you need to pause, you need to turn yourself into goo and be okay with being goo for a little bit. Yes. So yeah, and changing is difficult. It is difficult. It is not something to be done overnight, and it is just meant to take your time. So what I'm hearing is it's just a commitment you're just, Spirit is just asking you to make a commitment to you every day. So when you wake up, commit to yourself, commit to who you want to be. And like I'm hearing, if you like have been anxious about something or worried about something, ask yourself why, and say, why is this bothering me, and how can I move away from it? Or how can I forgive this situation? That might be a very important word for you in your shadow work, and working through all of these experiences that you're learning through is like, how can I forgive this? How can I do this? How can I be forgiven? Take that last one how you will, because whenever it's like, how can I be forgiven? Definitely you don't want to fall into like shaming yourself for like, oh, what you could have done, what you didn't do, or things like that. Stay away from like should, could, would. Those are all shaming language. Okay. Finally, what we have for you is our Twin Flame Oracle book. So this is going to give us a message to just support you in your separation and what your Twin Flame wants to share with you. Okay. Patience, my love. Love, divine timing is at work in our love life. Our twin flame relationship requires patience as there are numerous attributes involved. My free will choices are beyond your or the universe's control, as is the receptive alignment of us both for harmonious physical union. This page comes to you as a reminder that a relationship and union are worth waiting for. Divine timing is a universal law that is always in function. If we try our human will and force or try to control things to happen, we become out of alignment with the manifestation and create blockages between us and our union. Likewise, if we fear, when will I meet my twin flame, we put doubt and lack energy out into the universe. The universe has heard and answered your prayers for our union and is working behind the scenes to get this to you. You must hear and follow your intuition, even if it seems trivial to your desire. Your insights are like a guiding compass leading you to the path of answered prayers. Follow your intuition and have faith in the timing of your union. What did I say? Right now, it really seems like you're needing to go into a moment of isolation and to understand that you can't control how much time it takes to heal. So Spirit not only has come through saying like, you're doing it, this process has started, but then we also have your twin flame coming in saying that they also see that Spirit has started their work. Also, something that's coming through very much for your twin flame too, they are mirrors. So chances are, if you yourself are only now becoming chrysalis, they themselves are either right around that. A lot of times with the divine masculine, normally it's not right around the same time, it's a little bit after. So if you are becoming a chrysalis, if you become a butterfly and your partner is still a chrysalis or a caterpillar, then you will continue to be in separation, but that is not any reason for you to judge yourself or judge your partner for where they're at in life, because like it said, there are multiple attributes involved here. So whatever you're learning is going to be so important for you. And I'm hearing Spirit is saying like, you can, it might be hard, but to focus on the present moment, because it's really going to support you in just learning and understanding you. Yeah, you are going through a beautiful, beautiful transformation, and you are at the helm. So I definitely, I'm hearing a train. Maybe you need to take a trip. Doesn't come often around this time, so very odd. So yeah, definitely, again, isolation, taking a retreat, coming up strong. Just getting in touch with you. So pile 2, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there before I continue rambling on. I'm just really seeing that you are in this transformation. You're feeling the feels, and it is safe for you to rest, okay? So commit to yourself every day, and I will always be here for you as well. So don't forget to like and subscribe if it's resonated for you. You can comment below, gain some support from the community as well, and I will see you guys here next time. Blessed be pile 2. All right, pile 3, thank you for being here. Let's go ahead and get started with your twin flame separation reading with you. All right, so this pile most likely has our divine feminines here. No matter how you recognize yourself or label. Yes, so I'm getting the sense right now that you, okay. I'm getting the sense that I'm immediately picking up on some frustration, so that's why I'm laughing, because it just seems like maybe your energy as the Empress, like you're like, hello, I'm in full alignment, where is this connection? And because you're the Empress, you're like, am I not where I'm supposed to be? Where is the partner? And I'm getting the sense maybe you also are like, am I just meant to like is the divine masculine just more within myself that I'm supposed to recognize, or is it truly through my faith? So those are things that are coming through very strongly for you. The main thing I want to express, though, is right now you're in this mode, this time of creativity, this time of, one, recognizing your worth and being within that worth. So yeah, I am getting this sense. It's so interesting. So it's almost like a byproduct. Like you are just so enthusiastically the Empress that whatever you're working on is just like benefiting those around you or the universe around you. And you're not even really trying, is the most interesting part that's coming through, because it seems like there is a lot of focus on this lack of connection, or lack of connection in general, right? How lonely. I came across this the other day, about like two queens talking to each other, and it made me think, though, how often do we run into other queens, though? So I definitely think nowadays it's a lot easier, but that can be a reason why you have a sense of loneliness in your current world, is because as the queen of your current world, or the empress in your current world, you're the authority figure, and with that there's a certain boundary that comes with that. And that's why a lot of times the divine feminine wishes for a divine masculine, so that you have that true partner in life, right? And that's why we're seeing this frustration, because you're like, I'm killing it on my own, so what's the deal here? Sorry, this just keeps coming. I'm getting a lot of attitude. Anyways, hope you're well. Let's go ahead and take a look at what is actually blocking you. Okay, so we have the Chariot. So for the Chariot, I'm getting two things. With this being a blockage, I'm getting the sense that as much as you recognize yourself as the Empress, there's a certain project that you are not working on, and you're very aware of what that project is. I'm also getting, in addition to that there is a certain, it's just a delay. It's you can't help time. So there's still lessons, there's still things that need to be learned. I'm hearing like you can't control those around you, and we're going to get more messages, but some advice that is coming through is that this really is a time, a period where you can recognize yourself as just your divinity, and how you support those around you so effortlessly. That I'm hearing like these are the easy times, which is why it's getting a little bit slow. Like it's okay to go out a walk right now. A lot of times you're used to going at a speed pace. What? I can't think of the cartoon. I'm pretty sure it's Looney Tunes, where they're like, giddy up horse, and the horse just keeps walking at a very slow pace, even though the rider is like all this like anxious energy behind them. The horse has no sense of that. And so that really is what's coming up for me in regards to your twin flame journey, is you're getting really lost in getting to the finish line versus understanding how you've gotten this far and how you'll continue to move forward. Oh, something that just came through is like queens move with grace. Like the world will okay, reason why queens walk so slow is because they know that as they step, the world is being created for them. And so you have to give time for the world to actually be created, because otherwise you're falling into a void. And so that's why we're seeing like it can't be rushed, because it's a cliff. Okay, so very interesting, like needing to recognize just how powerful you are and letting the world catch up to you. Sorry, not catch up to you, because that means like you're standing still, but essentially letting the world form around you. Okay, and then some more advice from Spirit. Oh, we have Judgment. Okay, so I am hearing that there is a decision that you have been avoiding making. Something a certain way for you to move forward. Ooh, something else coming through. It might just be a way that you perceive yourself, and the decision. Okay. It's like the decision, the decision that you haven't made, or like you haven't really been doing. It's like the decision to put yourself out there, because I'm getting the sense that like a pilot, like a TV series pilot, or like a pilot toy or pilot book. I don't think they're still called that, but anyways, the point is, it's the initial creation that people put out there and are like, hey, this is pretty much finished, but there's still so much more potential for it to go. And that is really what we're seeing is Spirit is saying, like, you, the creation of you as a pilot, the Empress, you're fully formed. That's why we got you as the Empress coming out. You do not need an emperor to complete that transformation. It's time to put the pilot version of you out there. Yes, you are going to continue learning and growing, but the decision for this is here. Sorry, it sounds like you kind of don't get as much choice with it, but ultimately it is always a choice. It just sounds like you've already made your choice and you've just kind of been avoiding it. Again, why we're seeing the Chariot come up as your blockage. Yeah, and I'm also seeing so a certain sense of maybe you aren't recognizing yourself as the Empress because you're saying, like, how can I be an Empress without an Emperor? And honey, let me tell you, you can't. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, I'm just hearing from Spirit, like, it is time to unleash you. Even if right, I don't know the history of Barbie, but so don't fact check me, but like, did they release Ken with Barbie or did they release Barbie first and then Ken came later? Like, that's the kind of mentality I'm getting from Spirit in regards to, like, your own divinity. Okay, so let's go ahead and see about your supporting messages. Okay, so we're getting sexual freedom coming through on here. And we're also, I'm personally seeing, like, a figure 8 here and how they cross over in each other multiple times. Interesting. So something that's coming up for me, a big thing that's coming up for me is that this is actually probably another some working on the shadow work around how you feel about sexual freedom, what that means to you, around how you see yourself sexually, around how you share your body, how others view your body, like all of that, and how you express yourself, because right, that's the Empress is expressing the internal into the external, and sometimes that is done through the body. And so this really is coming through more as a shadow work for something for you to focus on, because it's something that's hurt you in the past. It's what's holding you back from expressing yourself as the Empress now. I'm hearing maybe you had too many judgments placed upon you for the way that you were in the past, like the way that you acted. And so that's really like why you're holding it back. Some Chariot is so many folded, right? What I was gonna say is, like, I'm also seeing some energy where, like, a lot of times too, when the Chariot gets maybe too slow is when you are staring back at the past, to the point where when you're leading a horse, and also when you're driving a car, really, people need to recognize this, you will turn the wheel and the reins and ultimately the vehicle, the horse, the mode of travel, in the direction that you're looking. So if you were looking in the past and you were only seeing the negative of the past, then that is where you're steering your mindset. That's where you're steering your Chariot. And so Spirit is coming through saying that this is something for you to work on, because this is an element of you that you haven't fully accepted. This is a part of being an Empress. Very important thing to note, because too often in times, sexuality and women in general are demonized for being any kind of sexual, unless it's how a man can profit off of it. So take that how you will, especially how you're resonating. Like I mentioned at the very beginning, it seemed like we're really within our divine feminines. If you're a divine masculine and you chose this pile, I am going to say that probably you're this is something that you need to work on in regards to the way that you respect your sexual freedom and those of your partner too. And again, it's really coming through, like, you guys, it's like you've kind of been putting the work already, and so there's, like, this is a scar that you just kind of been avoiding. Okay, so we have patience coming through. So something, the first thing coming through was the original message of, like, you're an Empress who does not need an emperor in order to be seen, in order to be. The other thing is to have patience with yourself as you go through these things. What did I say? You're a pilot with you're just the pilot episode with so much potential coming through. We don't know what kind of characters are going to be written onto the show. We don't know what kind of characters are going to be taken out of the show. We don't know how the main character is going to develop and grow, but we promise you that they will. We promise you that this is a dynamic show and that there's so much intrigue in your life that you will always be excited. I just heard, like, this is a show worth like 10 seasons. And we're just on the pilot episode, so have patience. Right? We're not asking you to binge your life. We're asking you to live your life. Okay. My big vision is the sum of the small steps I take each day. Okay. So I'm really picking up on the sense. Again, you're the Empress. You're like, I've been doing the thing. Where is this connection? Where is this other thing? And so Spirit, again, coming in with patience too, is saying, like, this, like, yes, you have become this Empress though because of those small steps that you took. So you still have more small steps to take as an Empress. So there's a duality of looking at this, that you're in the middle. You're not at the beginning. You're not at the end. You're always in the middle because the world moves as you step. What did we say? The world is forming as you step. So, ooh, how, sorry, literally, you have to take small steps in order to form this big vision. But by the time you're done, I just heard, like, if you walked around the entire world, you would have formed the world. But to walk around the world, like, that, oh, that would take years, right? So just keep that in mind. Like, that kind of metaphor is like, that's what you're working on right now, and it's going to take you less time. How amazing. All right. Our final thing that we have for you is your oracle book from your twin flame separation. So yes. All right. Moon transits. My love, if you've been going through the heaviness, brain fog, and mood swings, etc., are due to you responding to energies of the moon cycles. This is quite common, as the human body comprises of 70% water, and the moon's gravitational force moves the tides in and out. Hence, we are also likely to get influenced by the moon cycle. The moon has an influence on feelings and states of mind. However, some people are more sensitive due to their individual energy and body wiring. Water is the element of emotion and the unconsciousness. Something to note is water is also associated with all the queens, and therefore also the Empress. Anyways, so what you're feeling or purging out are unconscious fears, agony, and traumas you may not have realized you had still repressed in your system. You may also be feeling someone else's emotions. Protecting with shielding yourself, and salt bath showers are beneficial, as are energy cleansing and clearing rituals. When you learn to function with the moon energies, you can begin to find it rejuvenating, refining, cleansing, and beneficial for manifestation. In crux, it's about working with the moon energies instead of being unaware and being influenced negatively by purging, by the purging they push. In simple words, the new moon is a new beginning and setting of new intentions, and starting new endeavors and chapters is to function in alignment at this time. The full moon is a completion of or reaping phase. I suggest you to make a note of the full and new moons in your journal or calendar so that you can keep these things in mind during these times. It will assist you to keep away from any trauma and agony and tackle it more smoothly. For best results, note this and also work to protect yourself and cleanse out your energy daily so you can stay happy. As you work to clear your aura, the moon's energies will influence you a little gradually, small steps. Ultimately, when your aura is cleared from negativity, the moon's energies will no longer purge your repressed issues. Another sign for this page is that I might be the one who is sensitive and responding to the moon energies. Any mood swing and outbursts without any reason are likely relating to this. So, a couple of things coming up with this, right? Especially if you are the divine masculine tuning into this, that means you yourself are feeling a little bit sensitive and going through some mood swings. Also, if you're having patience with yourself as you attune to the moon and become more attuned to nature, and understanding that all your emotions are a part of who you are is going to be so important. And then finally, what did we talk about? Working through some of that shadow work. Using the moon for shadow work is, it's like bread and it's like peanut butter and jelly. Okay, it's better than bread and butter. And it just makes so much more sense when you do work with the energies of setting an intention at the new moon and gaining abundance and gaining perspectives during the waxing weeks, to when on the full moon you make a wish, you accept all the disappointments from the gaining weeks, and you let go of what no longer serves you. You let go. That's the best time to do shadow work, is during the waning weeks, because that's the moment when you're letting go. So that's just really the way, an easy way to hand it off is like during the waning weeks, you're like, I'm letting go of what doesn't serve me and focusing on release. And then during the waxing weeks, you're focusing on gain. So with that, pile 3, thank you for being here. I hope this resonated with you. Please like and subscribe if it did. Don't forget to comment below, gain some support from the community. And just remember again that the world is forming around you as you take a step. You're an empress with or without the emperor. And your emperor is just working through some emotions, just like you. That's how the world works. And maybe that's something you want in a partner. Maybe that's something to think about too. Is maybe that's something you've been missing, is talking to someone about emotions so deep. So anyways, just food for thought. I'll go ahead and actually leave it there, and I will see you guys next time.